think we're back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
We're working out a couple kinks here.
We added some new equipment to the studio we're excited for. We got a Zoom.
We're trying to figure it out.
So never, ever will we lose our audio ever again.
Thank God.
Yeah.
We usually have to stop multiple times and save it and...
Save. Oh,
yeah.
But now when we get on the fucking roll, we just gonna roll. We keep fucking going and never stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Kind of like when I'm jacking. Like, I can't. I stop. I just stop right there. Takes about 30 seconds. This is the Brohio Podcast Show. My name's the Delicious Nickalicious.
And I'm the Tasty Rob Dog.
He's really tasty tonight.
Yeah, Nick chugged a beer. He was breaking out a sweat over here, stressing out, and he chugged a 10-ton stout from Warp Wing. I'm sipping on one right now.
Warp Wing, if you're listening to the Brohio Podcast Show.
Tell you what, I was thinking about this the other day, and we set personal goals for ourselves and things that we want to do.
You do, I don't.
Yeah, for sure. You just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
I want a local brewery to partner up with us and make a Brohio brown ale.
Why?
It's gonna be a butt chuggers brown. That's what
I thought you were about to call it a butt strut. I'm like, that sounds delicious. I don't know what that is, but I'll have some of it.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I want it to be called butt chuggers brown. And so we're gonna figure out some local beers. Local breweries we got to talk to.
Find someone that'll talk to us.
That's my new goal.
That's not scared away.
Yeah.
This tastes like swamp water.
That's the point.
Oh, man. Now, this is a Patreon-sponsored episode. This is courtesy of Jackie Wyatt.
Thank you.
For some odd reason, I thought last week this was sponsored by somebody else.
Lindsay Westcott?
No.
It is Lindsay Westcott, not...
You did it again.
You did it again.
This is Lindsay Westcott's episode, not Jackie Wyatt. Jackie Wyatt is a very faithful pledger.
Jackie Wyatt's getting too much credit.
She is. She's super awesome, though. But Lindsay Westcott, she's the one, she said, listen, guys.
I got your back.
I don't want none of that true crime stuff. I don't want none of that ghost shit.
Amen, sister.
I want to talk about Doomsday Cults. And that's what we're talking about this episode.
That's pretty tight. I like it.
Goddamn Doomsday Cults. I got the pass down from my mom earlier tonight. She said, I listened to you with me and your dad. We're listening to you on the way back from the lake. You need to get a fucking grip on your life because I'm sick of listening to the way you talk to these people. Like, Mom, they like me.
They do.
They like us.
For some reason.
And we like them.
Absolutely.
And we're friends, Mom.
Don't talk about my friends.
Do you remember how...
I love them.
I used to have Uncle Friend?
Mm.
And he wasn't really my friend. He was trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
But this is all made possible by our new Patreon subscribers. Whew.
Thank you.
If you want to become a Patreon subscriber, I don't care if Rob has time tonight or not. We're doing a Patreon episode. We have to.
We have to.
Yeah.
I want to crank another one out before the end of the week, too. So
yeah. You can check us out at patreon.com/Brohio Podcast.
We have a doggo in the studio.
Yeah, that's Ace Man.
Old Ace Man.
12 years old. Thank you, Austin Harlman, for your Patreon pledge.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to Jesse Kent. Thank you.
And I'm glad I got this one. We got Trey Garrow, or Gay Arrow, Garrow, Trey Gay Arrow.
David Forbes, thank you.
From the Forbes 500, right?
Yep.
We're moving on up.
Yeah.
And Dolph Ziggler never wrote us, so I don't think that was the real Dolph Ziggler.
Damn it, Dolph.
Yeah. Casey Adams, thank you, Casey, so much for your Patreon pledge.
Jeff Nix, thank you very much, Mr. Nix.
Jeff Sanger, as in Gay Anger, Sanger, Jeff Sanger, thank you, Jeff Sanger, for your Patreon pledge.
Candace Autry, Autry.
And this is such a fancy name.
Oh, I love it.
Anastasia Lemon. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It could
Layman?
Be. It could be Layman. It could be West Virginian.
Layman.
Anastasia.
Beautiful name.
Thank you.
And last but definitely not least, we have Trevor Montgomery.
And for those of you that keep tabs on the Brohio Podcast Show, we are based out of Montgomery County in the state of Ohio.
And yes, I said Montgomery instead of Montgomery because I'm fancy.
We are not hillbillies. We are fancy white trash, but not hillbillies.
We are.
It is so fucking hot in Ohio right now, Rob.
All right, I got a call out first off.
I can feel it down in my loins. Go with it.
First and foremost, our buddy here, Bernie Nunez, posted a really, really cool status. He is, was it EMT?
Yeah, he's a paramedic of some type. He's a life-saving, I don't know, I think he flies the helicopter or something. I don't fucking know.
He posted a really cool status here in a private group, Butt Chuggers Anonymous.
The password's Bill Wilkins.
Here's what he said, and I'm looking for this person. If this is you, hit us up. I want to know about you. Guys, epic moment. Got called to a scene. A 22-year-old female had a seizure. She was wearing a Brohio shirt. Probably listened to our last episode. I told her to stop butt chugging so much and the seizures would stop. She immediately knew what I was talking about and started cracking up. Her mom lost her shit, thinking that I was sexually harassing her or something.
Get your hands off my daughter.
Bernie says she was really hot, though, so it's okay. I was probably supposed to read that, but just dropped her off at the hospital. Wish I could have gotten her number. Bernie, we're hooking you up, man.
Yeah. And Bernie in his profile picture, he's Hispanic and he's wearing a Pokemon hat. So automatic creep level is 10,000. But Bernie sent us like a whole bunch of Mexican candy for Sophie whenever she was on here.
Yeah.
And all kinds of Mexican goodness. Bernie is a solid dude.
Yeah. If you're seizure girl, hit us up. Let us know. We're sorry about your seizure, though.
Hit Rob up. Hit Rob up. Yeah. Anyone can hit us up. On Instagram, at Brohio Podcast. Gmail, brohiopodcast at gmail.com. Facebook, The Brohio Podcast. MySpace. Nick Alexander, 1987. I'm just kidding. That doesn't exist anymore. It might.
Yeah. And if my wife approves you, I'll give you my personal address and we can meet up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hi-oh.
I'm not down for that one. I'm not down for that one. Rob, I have an article for you. This comes from the great state of San Francisco.
Gotta love it.
The San Francisco corner is a real dump. And we got this article. I think Sam Farrell sent it. Or there was a bunch of people that sent us this article.
Okay.
So I'm happy to pass along.
All
a
right.
20-pound bag of shit, believed to be human shit, was abandoned at a corner in the city's gritty Tenderloin section on Saturday, prompting a handful of reports to the city customer service line and its phone app for identifying crimes, the San Francisco Chronicle reported. 20 pounds of feces dumped onto the sidewalk, read one report, on this gigantic bag of waste found at a Polk in Cedar Streets. Let me ask you this, Rob Dog.
Mm-hmm.
What are you eating that's going to produce a 20-pound bag of shit for you, honestly?
Shit, man. Shit, literally.
Lots of times I'm in a weird conversation. I need to leave the conversation, so I'm like, I gotta go take me a 20-pound shit. I'm not being serious.
Right.
But I'm paraphrasing. It might be a 2 to 3 pound shit.
Maybe if you're eating shit.
I just had a great idea, Rob.
Okay, lay it on me.
So I have two ideas. One is a mattress that I invented, okay?
Okay.
This mattress has a bladder in it.
Okay.
And then there's a hole in the top of the mattress, like the size of your dick. It would be a really small hole for me, bigger for some other people.
Okay.
And then you gotta piss. You just roll over and put your dick in the hole on the top of the mattress, and then you piss into the bladder. Okay. And then you can keep on sleeping. You empty the bladder out every 4 to 5 weeks.
Can it work like a pool table where it goes down? It goes down and collects in the corner.
Yeah, yes. And then you empty this bladder out every 4 to 8 months, however long you pee in it. But then my fear is some people are going to shit in it.
Right.
Shit in the bladder.
Yeah.
Anytime you get shit in your bladder, I think that's bad.
I would say so.
I think that's how people die. But my other idea was a toilet that weighs your shit before it flushes it all the way down. So
that's pretty good.
It'd be like a high score type game. Like you go in after Nick and you're like, God, 7 pounds? How am I gonna beat that?
Or like or just it weighs you while you're on it before and after.
No, I want it to weigh the turd itself.
Okay,
that's much more impressive.
Okay.
Because if you get on at 277 and you get off at 274, not that impressive. But if it's like ding 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 ding, 4 pound shit.
It's got to talk.
That means yes.
It's got to pronounce it.
It's like a fucking free throw machine at the arcade game. That's what I've got.
Oh man,
that's my idea. Yeah, the spokesperson for the City Department of Public Works said the gigantic bag of poop was removed later in the day. A DNA sample to determine whether it was human or animal feces was not taken. She said, "Well, then they must not fucking care that much, Rob."
You can tell human turds, man. I know I can. I stepped in one.
Yeah, that's in episode 1 or 2 or something.
Yes, it's way down the line.
There is nothing. I've said this before. There's nothing worse than stepping in human shit. Like when an old man shits his pants and he falls in it, like Bill Wilkins.
Oh yeah.
I can promise you from afar he would probably be cool to talk to, but you get right up on that guy and he's 73 years old and he died in his own shit. I'm not down for it, Rob Dog.
Nah, it's pretty rancid, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read the rest of this article because
it's a big bag of shit.
It doesn't fucking matter.
You guys get the idea.
If and I've looked at our demographics before.
Mhm.
Our largest city is San Francisco, or is Los Angeles,
Really?
which is practically Los Angeles. They're only like 8 or 9 miles apart. So if you're listening from San Francisco, keep on shitting in the street, fighting the good fight. We're here at the Brohio Podcast. We're going to support you. You do your thing. Get your funky on. Get your funky in. Do your thing. We got you.
Shit on the stoop of the Full House house.
Just take a... And I read another article about... There was a fire department really pissed off somewhere that people kept on doing the flaming bag, like shit in the bag, and then throwing it. And they're like, we're not responding to flaming bags of shit anymore. I'm like, what a bunch of... That's not Bernie Nunez. He would respond to that.
It's a Molotov shit tail.
Yeah. I mean, who does something like that? Me? Probably.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah. What are them flaming bags again? Now, our buddy Jeff Nix, he's a new patron subscriber. He wrote us an email, man, and he said, I was listening to your doppelganger episode, which is a really fun episode.
Yeah, it was a good one.
We could kind of freestyle a little bit. I like it. I like our episodes the most when we're not just reading the whole entire time. That we can we know what the fuck we're talking about. Seldomly happens.
Right, once every 10 episodes.
But the doppelganger episode, one of our favorites, he said that he had an incident where he was at a restaurant with, I think he had something to do with the church. And first of all, Jeff Nix, you are really doing God's work by going to church and listening to the Brohio Podcast show. I would like to say that. You are really fucked up. You're probably the guy giving the kids mushrooms at the back of the fucking sanctuary there. We respect you for that.
Bless you.
We respect you for that. But he said they were getting ready for church or something, and they were sitting down at Ponderosa. I don't remember the restaurant. It might have been Ponderosa.
That's sweet.
But there was a woman right across from him. He said, no doubt about it, spot on, was his mom. Like, looked just like his mom, same glasses, same hair. And he just got like this awful feeling while he's sitting there staring at this woman. Like, I have no idea why I'm seeing my mom right now. His mom, she was alive at the time, which she's probably still alive now. I'm not sure. I don't know that part. But he said the woman wouldn't look at him, and he was like, kept looking at her like, Mom, why? And this woman was not his mother, but it was his mom. So he saw a doppelganger of his mom at the local Ponderosa.
That's pretty creepy.
What's worse than that is he went in the bathroom and he slipped in a pile of shit and he hit his head on the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the doppelganger thing happened after the fall on the toilet. Yeah, I made that part up.
Well,
we're here for you, Jeff.
We love doppelganger stories. Any type of stories.
Yeah.
Fun stuff like that's cool.
People send us a lot of, I saw a ghost. We can't put every I saw a ghost story on here.
Yeah.
Because then we wouldn't have time for the episode. But
which may or may not be a good thing.
Send us fucking cool shit like that.
We like it.
And Jackie Wyatt, I'm sorry. This is not your episode. Lindsay Westcott. We pledge our allegiance to you on this episode. And
all hail Miss Westcott.
Yeah. She, wonderful young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said before, we're covering Doomsday Cults, Rob. Whew. There's a lot of them.
There is.
But as a preface...
Yeah, we're going to tell you a little bit about what we're not doing.
Yeah. Like the last episode, we didn't do JFK.
Right.
But we kind of did a little bit.
Yeah, we decided to opt out of the two largest ones, I would say, because those in itself could be its own episodes.
Yeah, the Jonestown
and Heaven's Gates.
Yeah. Those will be their own episodes, just like I want to do Bigfoot soon as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do Bigfoot, if you know what I mean.
I think he's probably down to kick it, honestly. We probably get him here for this episode.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pause real quick because my dog's in here and he's eating all the fucking cat food.
He's chowing down. He's cleaned out the whole bowl.
Okay, hold on. All right, we kicked that sandbagging son of a bitch out.
Good old Ace.
Ace is 12 years old. I'm 30. He's been with me since I was 18. He used to be able to get beers out of the fridge. Now he just can barely reach his ass. He's in pretty good shape for a 12-year-old.
He's a good dog.
Yeah. Now, Doomsday Cults.
All right.
Oh. Initially, when she said she wanted us to cover Doomsday Cults, I was very intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the severity of what these fucking monsters have done and what the mayhem that they've, kind of put out there, man. It's kind of crazy what they can get people to believe.
Yeah, and this isn't even like in the gullible states here. This is all over. There's places all over
This is Japan?
It happens everywhere.
You know, if I went to Japan, they would probably think I was Hulk Hogan because I'm blonde hair and I got this big chest.
You know, I'm not even going to lie thinking about it. I think the people that listen to us might be a little cult.
The Butt Chuggers Anonymous?
Yeah.
That's a fucking cult, man.
Yeah.
There's
Worship Zimas and...
There are some piranhas in there.
Die-hard motherfuckers.
And I'm still in exile from the closed group because...
you're not... It's got a life of its own. It's hanging in there.
But, you can reach Nicolicious on the Instagram page, right? The Brohio actual main page. I still don't have Facebook Messenger because it was just blowing up all night.
Mm-hmm.
Email us. I get that as well. So
I pop my head in the closed group every now and then.
Yeah. Now, in the most of these doomsday cults, the belief is that essentially the world is coming to an end. Pretty easy there. There's apocalypse on the horizon. Yeah. And that's what they're using to scare these people with.
Yeah, there's usually some type of religious connotations there.
Yeah. And in the Christian world, I just want to say I'm completely fascinated by the end of the world, the apocalypse, the fucking 7 horses, all the trumpets playing. I had a dream one time that I snap into this dream and I'm lying on my back on the ground and in front of me is like this lit staircase with clouds around it, like a golden staircase, and automatically I know this is the stairway to heaven. Sorry, Mr. Zeppelin, but this is the stairway to heaven, and it lifts my body, and I start going towards like these 2 golden doors. This sounds kind of cliche with the clouds around it, and then I start to get closer to the door, and there's like a guy with his arms extended like Jesus, like,
okay,
welcome home, Nick. I know you let your dog lick peanut butter off your nuts a lot when you're a teenager, but come on in. We're going to show you the glory of the light. The streets are gold. We're going to drink wine and fish. We're going to eat fish together. Come on in, my boy. And I get up there, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm coming in, Jesus. And you guys have never met the 70-year-old black Reverend Virgin of Nick before, but
he's there.
He oftentimes performs at birthday parties and weddings, and wow. And I get, my body is going up the staircase, and I get to the door, and I see this Jesus with his arms extended, and then fucking a 3-headed snake just bursts through the door, like a huge, like cobra snake thing, and it gets right up in my face, and then like each one says one thing I've done bad in my life, like,
oh God,
and it was saying, and usually dreams is just like bumbling shit. It means fucking nothing.
Right.
These things were all saying fucked up things that I've done in my life. Like they would take turns, and then they started going faster, and then they were like going over top of one another. So then by the end of it, they were all 3 saying things the fucked up shit that I've done on top of one another. And my body was paralyzed. I couldn't cover my ears. I couldn't stop from looking in their eyes every time they talked. And then I finally woke up. But man, you want to talk about a dream that's just like hard to wrap your head around it. And then I grew up in a Christian home, and I went to church, and I told my pastor about it, and he's like, I have no idea what to say to you right now. I have no idea what to say to you right now. And since then, my religious beliefs have changed a little bit. I think the theory of Christ in heaven is pretty far-fetched, in my opinion. I think that I look at my daughters, and they are the most beautiful things I've ever laid eyes on. And to think that they came from fucking monkeys, I can't fucking buy it, Rob. I don't like monkeys. They shit in their hands and they throw it at people. I'm not buying that there wasn't like some type of like divine intervention of some type. Something happened,
Okay.
So,
hey, to each their own.
Right. To each their own.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep dream there you had.
It's really deep.
It is really deep. It's funny because you mentioned a dream where kind of like kind of follows suit with what we're talking about. Just 2 days ago, I had a dream that I was sitting in a house. We've been looking at a lot of houses, since looking to buy or whatever.
I hope so bad the house you guys got is fucking so haunted.
Oh, dude, don't say that's an 1800s house.
I know.
Beverly will shit her pants.
I will come get him out, though.
I won't mind, but anyways, we were in a house, and a huge ship flies into orbit, and you could see it coming into Earth.
Like a turd?
Like a ship, not a ship.
A ship. Okay,
a ship. But it's not a normal. It's not a normal ship.
Big old fucking turd transporting.
This ship is being flown. It's flying through the air by dragons attached by ropes. So everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's the end of the world." The ship lands. It gets better. The ship lands just not far away from the house that we were looking in, and the doors open. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs run out and fucking destroy everything. It's like, whoop, so there's the dinosaurs.
House party, open party.
So you had a deep dream. That's my deep dream.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are gonna rule again.
I talked to the fucking serpent Satan, and you fucking found the spaceship that
dragons and fucking dinosaurs.
So there's a theory out there that the dinosaurs left on a spaceship.
There you go.
Rob Dog's bringing them back.
There you go.
Open that beer real quick for everybody.
All right.
Last week you fucking gagged the microphone. This week we can do something not as invasive.
Did I?
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, I don't even remember. See how these episodes just all go together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Tasty beer.
Peaked out the levels too.
That's fine.
Sweet.
That's gonna make everybody thirsty.
Let's go.
Let's go on with it. Now, like we said before, in the Christian world, which I've said I'm fascinated with, there's the end times. Obviously, that's kind of conglomerate of everything where they think that the world is coming to an end, and most of these doomsday cults are based around these certain beliefs. And then you have the second coming, which everyone believes that
Jesus
in the I don't know. The belief is in the Christian realm, Jesus died, and he fucking came back a few days later and said, "Hey, I'm not dead, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I died for your sins, but I'm not really dead." Or shit like that. But this belief, the second coming, is that he will be back, and this is when everyone's going to face judgment. Everyone's going to, this is the trials and tribulations. This is when everyone's going to be brought to the fucking front, and you're going to have to answer for why you didn't follow the heart of Jesus.
You butt chuggers are fucked.
You guys are all fucked so hard.
We're all going to hell.
You guys are all getting flipped right in the butthole.
Flipped in the diddle.
Then there's the last judgment where ultimately you are going to have to answer for everything you've done bad in your life. That kid you diddled, or that piece of candy you stole from Rite Aid. That time you lit an office chair on fire and threw it at a mailbox and knocked the mailbox out of the ground. I've never done that, but I know a guy that has, and he's going to have to answer for it. But then there's you have the Great Tribulation, which is just going to be complete. There's a lot of different things in the Bible they speak about as far as the Great Tribulation. There's going to be wars in the Middle East. There's going to be people. There's going to be an Antichrist that says he's Jesus Christ, but he's actually, Satan. And I feel like all this stuff, in hindsight, I feel like these are almost like scare tactics as far as the way the Bible is presented. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, then I'm going to have a rough time whenever the end of the world does arrive. And then you have the rapture, which the rapture is the belief that Jesus is going to grab all of these people from their everyday lives, just snatch them up and take them to heaven and leave all the bad people behind. And in the Bible, it says nations will rise against nation, kingdoms against kingdoms. There will be great earthquakes in various places, famines, and there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. But before all this, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors for my name's sake. All for this kind-hearted man, Jesus, or God. Such a nice guy.
He loves you.
Yeah. He loves you so much that he's gonna fucking kill you. Now, like we said, the second coming, you can't be fooled, because there's gonna be a guy that's actually Satan that's He's gonna say he's Jesus Christ, but he's actually Satan. And I have notes on all this, the different types of.
You think with all this stuff written down and told that Satan would be like, you know what? I'm not going to follow that plan.
Yeah, they're on to me.
They think they know me. I'm gonna prove them wrong.
I'm not doing it. Now, the thing about Doomsday Cults is that they start as something kind of harmless. And a lot of time, even this Japanese one that we're going to talk about, started as a fucking yoga studio. Just come in here. Dude, there's this thing called hot yoga where people get in a fucking room and they crank the thermostat all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to wrap their assholes around their necks. I'm not down with that, man.
Oh, man, I couldn't imagine. It probably smells so bad.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
It'd probably smell like a bag of smashed assholes in there.
I smell like shit after a work day. I can't imagine being in, exercising in 130 degrees in hot heat.
This summer has waged war on my testicles.
Oh, man, it's been bad.
My wife's like, what's that smell? And I'm like, I'm doing a Captain Morgan pose, and it's my balls. It's my summer balls. We have to get them swapped out for my winter balls, and then everything will be okay. Now, a lot of times these cults will start as some kind of charity. We're not going to talk about the People's Temple or Jonestown, Jim Jones, where they drink all the Flavor Aid and all that stuff.
It's funny, that guy looks like a Jim Jones. If you were to see just a picture of him not knowing who he was.
Show me a picture of Jim Jones.
He looks like, if you looked at him, I would look at him and think, that guy's name's Jim Jones.
I would look at him, and I don't like to use this word, but I would be like, you look like a faggot.
Oh my God.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say to him, Rob.
You can't say that.
But there's a difference between, and I forget, Louis C.K., he says there's a difference between being a faggot and a faggot. Like whenever you have your brothers, whenever you're little, and your brother fucking punches you in the balls, you're like, God damn, you faggot. But then to call a gay person that word is completely different. And I have nothing but love in my heart for homosexuals, heterosexuals, black, white, Mexican, aliens. I love them all, Rob Dog. There's not an ass I won't eat. But when Jim Jones does something like that, he's just being a faggot. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I think you broke me.
Sorry.
I don't condone it.
All right. Now, a lot of times these cults, they kind of get to where they're going. Well, towards the end, when everything gets completely fucked up, they get there because the leaders become corrupt, especially when there's money involved. Rob's over there just laughing like he's holding himself. You guys are just getting the delicious Nickalicious for the rest of this episode. I'm doing it by myself.
Oh, man.
And they aren't in a... the cults aren't in like a central focal point to the media, so they can kind of fly under the radar and do their own thing. There's no one to regulate what they're doing. You know? Rob, talk to him.
Oh, God.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm dying.
It's just that F word, isn't it?
It is. It makes me so uncomfortable.
But it's not a derogatory way, you know?
Yeah.
I love sucking. I mean, I love stuff. I love all kinds of stuff. Try anything twice. That's what I tell my wife. Try anything twice.
Keep your socks on.
Yes. And as long as you keep your socks on, it's not gay. I learned that in prison, and that's what I've preached for a long time. Skin is skin. Just flesh.
We have a potential shirt design.
Yeah.
Socks on.
I can't remember his name.
It's Jesus.
It's Jesus. Now, there's nothing difference between putting a penis or a vagina in your mouth if you bite your fingernails. You put your finger in your mouth, it's just flesh, you know.
True.
They talk bad to us about these millennials eating ass and stuff. It's just skin. Right, Rob?
That's true.
Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing, Brohio Nation.
Eat that booty.
Yeah. And the leaders of these cults, they like to exploit members. They like to take their money. They like to make them pledge all of their riches, all of their life earnings. And they say, you know, flip it over to us, and you'll never have to want for anything ever again because you'll be one of us and we'll take care of you. Oftentimes the leader is a castaway from a certain religious group. So there's someone that's they've veered off the path, and they had a certain amount of friends or followers that were still in the congregation, and they say, you know what, we're gonna start a motorcycle gang or whatever the fuck they do.
Motorcycle gang.
Whatever kind of cult that may be. All right, we stopped to save there. Rob's really concerned about the F word. I just want you people to know that it was meant in like a hateful Jim Jones type of way. Because we hate Jim Jones. Is that his name, right?
I think so, yeah.
Jim Jones. You fucking fuckhead.
God, you scared me there.
Yeah, I know. No more of the F word. Now, one castaway you all might be very familiar with is a little fuckhead named Charles Manson.
Yes.
He was the ultimate. The family, the Manson cult. I'm not going into great detail about the Manson, that whole entire shit show. Their belief was that a racial war would end the world. They believed the blacks would kill all the whites, winning a position of dominance, but their power structure would quickly crumble. So it was the belief of Charles Manson that the blacks would rule the world, but they would not be able to do it for very long, that they would eventually all kill themselves. And he convinced these people, the family, they would go live in the desert and wait out the power struggle. And once everyone killed one another, then they would emerge from the desert. You know,
he's so optimistic.
He was very optimistic. He was a fucking douchebag.
Right.
He oftentimes referred to himself as God and Satan, and he believed he was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
Manson, but also Satan.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay,
he can do it all.
Why not?
Change your oil. He could play. He could write a song.
He can fuck your tailpipe.
Cast you away to hell. Manson ordered the murder of the murders they're all famous for. He ordered all these murders, and he didn't have to lift a finger when he did all these.
True.
Now, who would be recruited for cults like these doomsday cults? What kind of people do they target? The main methods of cult recruitment revolve around deception and manipulation. Potential recruits are not told the true nature or intentions of the group. Instead, recruiters portray it as something mainstream, low pressure, and benign. They may tell people at a church gathering that their group meets once a week to brainstorm ways to raise money for a new homeless shelter. Yeah.
So that's how they get them.
Yeah, they reach out to these vulnerable people and make it seem like they're doing a service to the community, and then over time it gets darker and darker and darker, and they make it seem like you have to be in a certain position in the cult to kind of, I guess, matter in the cult, and they get these people to believe these things to the point where they eventually cast them away. They break their brains all the way down and kind of just rewire them to be these fucking mindless.
Yeah, it seems to me that they have to be, even starting out, they have to be a little like internally lost. Maybe struggling to figure out where they want to fit in the world.
And that's the thing that I read, that they're looking for people that have just lost a spouse, or younger people that have dropped out of high school or college.
Just looking something that they can feel a part of.
Yeah, sure.
Where they haven't before.
And it's the dirtiest trick in the playbook to go after these people.
It's mental terrorism, pretty much.
It is, and that's why we talk about these awesome things here at the Bro Ohio Podcast Show. And we are going to start with, you may have heard it in the news this week. The name of this doomsday cult is Aum Shinrikyo. This is a Japanese doomsday cult. And let me tell you something, these goddamn guys, they had weapons of mass destruction. They had WMDs. They didn't have fucking bombs, but man, they had gas. They had guns. They had explosives. Their leader and some of the members were executed just this week.
Good.
From a subway gas attack they carried out in 1995. And are you familiar with the subway gas attack?
I'm not.
That's where they all go to Subway and they order 3-foot-long meatball subs, and they wait about 6 hours, and they all shit in a bag. And they get in the Subway and they start slapping people in the face with these bags of shit, Rob. And then if the bag breaks open, when they hit the people in the face, they kill that person. So if you can weather the storm of being smacked in the face with a bag of shit, then you live. But they just make their way down the subway there, just smacking people with the meatball sub shits right in the fucking teeth. But honestly, they use a bunch of sarin gas and a different kind of, the same stuff that Kim Jong-un just used last year to kill his brother with. They used that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they killed a whole bunch of people on the subway. And we're gonna cover all that. The cult was started by a fellow named Shizu Masamoto. Shih Tzu. And for the namesake here, he later changed his name to Shoku Asahara. And I'm not good with Hispanic names at all, so you guys will have to bear with me here. It was fundamentally built on a Christian belief system. They believed that Jesus was, in the beginning, they believed that Jesus was coming back, and there were certain things that they made their members believe that they created the cult, essentially, that drew them all together to try and make them believe that there's an end times they all needed to be prepared for. And just like Charles Manson, he told them that he was Christ, and he referred to himself as the Lamb of God, and he was Japan's only enlightened master. And for those of you that have watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you will know that there is more than one enlightened master in Japan, if you've ever met Master fucking Splinter, okay?
Mr. Asahara is very modest.
Asshair is not modest.
Mr. Asshair.
There was a lot of writings that say that his cult was more so based around like a Japanese Buddhism type thing. And I started to read into all these Buddhism things to try and convey the research to you guys. And I did decide that what I was reading about, no one would have fucking cared about. So I didn't write any of it down. If you know anything about Buddhism, fantastic. If you don't, I think they worship a fat statue. I'm not, beyond that, I'm not 100% sure. Now, what did he preach? He said he had his followers convinced that there was a World War III on the horizon.
I'm sure there is.
There is, and it's not hard to get people in Japan to believe.
It's not hard to believe.
And in America, you can't say the F word, right?
True.
And you can't call women a cunt. And in Japan, you can't say atomic bomb. Like that's a no-no.
Yeah. There's a lot of words you can't say.
In America?
Oh yeah. Especially nowadays.
Oh yeah. And that's why Rob's so bent out of shape right now. He's really upset about this F word.
I've bit my nails down to nothing.
And it was instigated. He used like the monster in his theory that the world was coming to an end was none other than the fucking World War champion, the United States of America. He said that the U.S. was going to start another nuclear war and essentially disintegrate Japan again, unfortunately. And he,
oh fuck,
and that's what he conveyed to his followers, and that's kind of what they were afraid of. He thought humanity would end, except for the elite few who joined his cult. Now, to spare the entire word, we're going to call this the Aum cult. Their mission was not only to spread the word of salvation, but also to survive the end times. And Asahara predicted that Armageddon would occur in 1997.
Womp womp.
Yeah, wrong. Well, it might have. None of this fucking.
This could be an alternate universe. Who knows?
Yeah. The USA was the beast mentioned in the Bible, which the Bible does speak a lot about the beast. This whole entire shit show started as a yoga and a meditation studio. So he
branched out.
I like the picture. He was at the mall, just standing out front with a towel on his neck in front of his store, doing $40 massages and shit.
He was like Buddha.
Yeah, just out there grinding, Rob, trying to feed his kids,
doing his shit, man.
And then you got a bunch of people start showing up, coming back, and I could do something awesome here. Let's start a fucking cult. And in most instances, I believe it's money driven, honestly, and that's probably what. And this ultimately, now this is the one cult that this may not be the case for. They started the cult in 1984, and they turned it into a religious organization in 1989. The cult would publish anime and cartoons, and these cartoons would tie together in prophecy stuff with space missions, powerful weapons, world conspiracies, and the quest for ultimate truth, which is that's what their name, the AUM, whatever the fuck it was. I'm not going to be able to remember this. But the name for their cult translates to English as the ultimate truth.
Okay.
which is just deep all by itself.
I like that.
What is the ultimate truth, Rob Dog?
Who knows?
That out of everyone that came from the 80s, the only one still walking around is fucking Carrot Top and Pee Wee Herman, okay? That's the ultimate truth.
And it's very true.
Coming with that fucking shit. And like I said before, they were different about the money. They lived modestly. They had an armored Mercedes-Benz that was gifted to them by a follower, but they all, they lived a modest lifestyle. They kind of kept to themselves. They wore dirty underwear and stuff, like saggy clothes, and
bless them.
God bless them. Now, the people that tried to renounce or leave the cult were hung from their feet and treated, got to make them better because they're sick. They want to leave. They're fucking sick. They're treated with electric shock therapy. And I have watched enough fucking 50 Shades of Grey movies to know that electric shock therapy probably isn't that bad, as long as you get it.
Make your nipples hard.
Yeah. But I think I have a medical condition where my nipples pretty much stay hard. I don't need to be aroused, or my nipples just stay hard. I don't know if it's...
Mine do when I'm fucking.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You still do that?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
Yep.
I don't get it in no more.
I get a lot of practice.
I don't get none of that good. No, I do. I do sometimes. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with my nipples. If you're... Do you think we have any doctors that listen to us?
I don't know.
I highly doubt it.
Hey guys, when you come, do your nipples get hard?
We had to take my daughter to the doctor today, and the doctor, she was a genetics doctor. And dude, she was so smart. Like, just a brilliant mind the whole entire time. You know what I was thinking?
What?
Shut the fuck up.
God damn it.
Yeah, the whole entire time I was thinking, she probably wouldn't like my podcast. That was what I was thinking the entire time, which is whatever. So this is where they became kind of violent when they started with the electric shock therapy. There were swirlings in the media about deception, about this cult possibly holding people against their will, imprisoning them, and that there was the chance that people that were trying to leave were murdered. So this stuff was not confirmed at this time. And then in 1989, this is where it gets fucking hairy, Rob.
I'm ready.
1989, there was a class action lawsuit that a lawyer was bringing the suit against them. And I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Sutsumi Sakamoto.
That was very good.
Sutsumi Sakamoto. There was a period of negotiations before the actual lawsuit where he was trying to work some things out with the group, but he was bringing the class action lawsuit against them over all of the stuff that we just spoke about the holding people against their will, about murdering people that were trying to leave. Now, he talked to the leader into having a blood test. The lawyer did. And the reason he wanted the leader of the cult, which we spoke about him earlier, he's the one that was just executed this past week. The reason he wanted him to have the blood test was he said that he had special blood, like divine blood, like he was different than all other humans. And this lawyer's like, well, motherfucker, if you're so special, then have this special blood tested. So the supreme leader did have his blood tested, and the results came back that his blood was just like everybody else's, and there was nothing special about it.
No way.
Yeah. So he got really pissed off about this. And it was assumed that if they lost the cult, if they lost as defendants, it would completely bankrupt their entire operation.
Yeah.
So after the findings of the blood test and all those shenanigans, this lawyer decided he was going to go on television, which a station called TBS in Japan. They also have a very large radio outfit. Rob and I were actually on TBS radio in South Korea whenever the podcast first started.
It's crazy.
Don't know why they wanted to have us on.
No idea.
But
it turned out pretty well, though.
We went on there, man.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, he the interview he did never made it to television, but TBS took the taping and they showed it to the cult, the cult and their leaders, unbeknownst to Sakamoto. Next month, Sakamoto and his wife and child went missing. The police couldn't solve the case for the longest time. Finally, in 1995, after the famed subway gas attacks, did they finally find out that it was indeed the cult, the Aum cult, that committed the murders against Sakamoto and his family. Now, what they did find out about these murders, they used potassium chloride to inject into these, into the people they killed. They disposed of their bodies in the ocean. There was a big fucking winding tale here where it was just members of this cult, and they essentially killed this lawyer because of what he was going to do as far as the class action lawsuit. It was at that point they just decided that they wanted to fucking kill everyone, that they wanted to make themselves the last standing bodies in Japan. And at the end of 1993, they started to manufacture sarin gas and VX gas. And like we talked about before, sarin gas is what Syria has been using in recent times to their Air Force has been using on their own residents there in Syria.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about world affairs. I know seems a little fucking immoral to gas your own people. Okay, absolutely. Yep. And the VX gas is what Kim Jong-un used to assassinate his own flesh and blood, his brother, just last year. But we're friends with him too. We got Dennis Rodman and shit. So,
and people think Trump's so fucking bad.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not taking his side. I'm not standing up for him.
We're making friends all over the world right now, Rob.
I know.
It doesn't even matter.
His Facebook friends list is growing.
Definitely. Ours isn't. I'm sorry about that.
Definitely not.
Now, they tested these batches of sarin and VX gas on sheep, Rob.
I can take the human thing.
You know what? I can understand.
But the animals?
Yeah. I think if you just tested them in the middle of a field with no one around, I think that's, not terrible. But to test them on sheep, I think that's a bad idea.
Oh, God damn it. I was not expecting that.
I kept it so serious.
That was so good.
Oh, man. I love when I can make funny dad jokes.
If you guys didn't laugh at that, you have no soul at all.
So bad. On the night of June 27th, 1994, I sound like a drunk person when I said 1994.
Have another beer.
I got a little bit. No, I don't. It's gone.
Nope, have at it.
In 1994, the cult carried out a chemical weapons attack against civilians when they released sarin gas in the central Japanese city of Matsumoto, Nagano. That's right down the street from the China buffet. And with the help of a converted refrigerator truck, members of the cult released a cloud of sarin which floated near the homes of judges who were overseeing a lawsuit concerning a real estate dispute, which was predicted to go against the cult. This Matsumoto incident killed 8 and harmed 500 more. There was a local guy that actually took the fall for this. He didn't take the fall. The police immediately said, hey, this guy is the one that did it, and they had absolutely no idea that the Aum Shinrikyo cult was the one that was responsible for all this. There was also another attack in 1995. They killed 3 people. They attacked 3 people with a sarin gas, and 1 died. This person they killed was believed to be a spy that they thought was trying to, come across enemy lines there and see what was going on in the cult. But they killed they killed him with the gas. And in February 1995, several cult members kidnapped Kiyoshi Korea, a 69-year-old brother of a member who had escaped from a Tokyo street, and took him to a compound in Kamakushishiki near Mount Fiji.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Where he was killed. His corpse was destroyed in a microwave-powered incinerator, and the remnants disposed. They got rid of him in Lake Kawaguchi. Before Korea was abducted, he had been receiving threatening phone calls demanding to know the whereabouts of his sister, and he left a note saying, if I disappear, I was abducted by Aum Shinrikyo, which is the
leader.
The cult. No, this is the cult. The name of the cult is Aum Shinrikyo.
Right.
The police made plans. This is kind of when the police got hot on their tail. The police made plans to simultaneously raid cult facilities across Japan in March 1995. Prosecutors alleged Asahara, the leader of the cult, was tipped off about this and that he ordered the Tokyo subway attack, which was their largest attack, which hadn't happened yet. He ordered the attack to divert police away from the raids. Now, March 20th, 1995, several members boarded Tokyo trains and released sarin gas, or it was a very close derivative of the gas, on the subway system. They released it in 5 trains. They killed 13 commuters, injuring 54 and affecting 1,000 more. There is an off chance that they possibly affected and injured over 6,000 people with the release of these gases.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a couple. Police were hot on their shit after these other attacks, and he was they were tipped off about further gas attacks. Like we said before, they did the attacks to kind of, I guess, divert them from the raids. Okay, they had a compound near Mount Fiji. These gas attacks did nothing to slow the police from these raids. They did conduct the raids, and in Mount Fiji, where their main headquarters was, they located explosives, chemical weapons, a Russian military spec Mi-17 helicopter. What kind of fucking cult religious group has a goddamn helicopter, Rob? Just got a Russian helicopter just chilling.
Scientology.
Tom Cruise definitely has a helicopter.
They definitely have one.
Got a tiny dick, but definitely has a helicopter.
Hey.
And there were also the rumors that they possessed anthrax and Ebola cultures. So if you're really trying to fuck up someone's sandwich, little Ebola right there on top of it.
That'll do it.
And I don't know why this came to my head. I had, when there was the big Ebola scare in America about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I was a superhero and that I was flying around curing people of Ebola. And you know what my name was, Rob?
What was it?
I was the Ebola controller. That's what my name was. It was on my fucking shirt and shit. While we're speaking about dreams, the police said that the Aum Shinrikyo had in possession chemicals that would allow them to kill north of 4 million people. That's 4 million people. That's the entire population of Dayton, Ohio, and a lot more. They had a lot of LSD and meth labs going on, which LSD that's a really good drug as far as mind control and all that shit goes. They had millions of US dollars, US gold. They also had a fucking entire jail facility, like a bunch of jail cells, and they were all full. And these were people that were trying to get out of the cult. And they were like, "No, you're incarcerated.
Yeah, you're locked up.
Not today, motherfucker."
Yep.
They definitely didn't sound like that, but I don't have a good.
What if they did?
I don't have a good Japanese.
Yeah, it'd sound totally racist.
Accent. We think we've already pretty much blown it for this episode.
we can make one offensive joke per episode.
Yeah. Now, the chief of National Police Agency in March of 1995 there in Japan, he was shot. He was shot 4 times. He wasn't killed. They've since solved that, and it's not linked to the Aum Shinrikyo cult. But initially, when that happened, they had full belief that that this is what they were the ones that carried out this assassination. They said that they had enough hydrogen cyanide that could have killed 10,000 people on hand. And then on May 16th, 1995, the police investigated the headquarters. This is of Aum Shinrikyo. And Asahara, the cult leader, was discovered in a very small, isolated room in one of the facilities. The police were very weary of the fact that he had military power, essentially. Fucking helicopters, all the sarin gas, all these various things that he could combat military forces with, let alone police forces. So they called in the 1st Airborne Brigade of the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, and they were stationed nearby to support the police if needed. He was taken into custody, and he was executed just this past week by hanging. They fucking hung his little fucking dumbass.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Very good.
Yeah.
They've continued to operate, but they've been stripped of their religious group tag. Now they kind of do. They make ends meet by running a computer business.
Okay.
And accepting donations. And if you would like to donate to their cause,
and why wouldn't you?
I don't know where to find that information, but you can look it up. And like we said, July 6th, Asahara and 6 other Aum Shinrikyo members were executed by hanging. Japan's Justice Minister Yoko Kamikawa stated that the crimes plunged people not only in Japan but in other countries as well into deadly fear and shook society to its core. Amnesty International criticized use of the death penalty in this case. While executions are rare in Japan, they have public support according to surveys. There were 13 members total on death row at the time. But now they go by the name Aleph, like Aleph. It's ran by his descendants, his children, but it's still around. I mean, it's still a thing. So, but they do a lot of good community things now, like community-based things, and
they're trying to make up for.
They do a lot of good shit. It's like when the Hell's Angels buy fucking like $7,000 worth of Christmas presents every year, and it's kind of like that.
They try to counteract their bad things.
And I would just like to go on record and say, I am an advocate of Hell's Angels, and I think they're all fantastic humans. And I wish nothing but the best for all of them. So just get that. But we're an hour into the episode. Jesus Christ.
We're a quarter way through of our research.
Yes, I think this is probably going to be close to a 2-hour episode.
Well, let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. I'll let you.
Okay. I'm ready to jump into mine.
Okay.
If you're ready.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to jump into my first one, which I have is the Rajneeshees. I think I'm saying that right.
I got the Rajneeshees right now. Right before you came here.
Yeah.
I Rajneesheed all over the fucking bathroom.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
So this began back in 1970. This is by, Bhagwan Sri Ranjis.
This is why we shouldn't do no more international affairs of the Brohio podcast.
AKA Osho. So I'll be referring to
Osho.
I'll be referring to this person as Osho. And this is in India. And they are actually responsible for the largest bioterrorist attack in U.S. history. So before we get into that, let's get a little bit into the background here. This cult was actually, just kind of as we talked about beforehand, this was actually started as a spiritual movement with Osho. I'm not even going to try to attempt the last name.
Maduro Osho.
Teaching a mix of capitalism, meditation, ethnic and dirty jokes, and open sexuality.
Wait a second. This guy...
So, yeah.
He based an entire cult off of fucking dirty jokes.
Ethnic and dirty jokes. So he was a dirty comedian.
He's one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us. And open sexuality. He's one of us. He could be me.
We're slowly breaking these motherfuckers down.
And this gave him the title Sex Guru. So
no one's taking that from me, buddy. I gave the people the advice last week about flipping women in the butthole.
Yeah.
And no one reported back on that one, so I don't think it worked for anybody. I hate that I'm giving bad sex advice, but
hey, it's all right.
You gotta win one.
Yeah. Gotta win one. Now, by the 1980s, this movement actually had grown to tens of thousands of members, with 30,000 alone visiting the commune in India. This is annually. Annually, not anally. Osho wanted to make a utopia, but was under constant pressure from the powers that be at India. So, of course, what does he do? With help from his aide, these names, I love these names, Ma Anand Sheila, a.k.a. Queen, and her rich husband, Mark Harris Silverman, they purchased a 65,000-acre property in Oregon that was called the Big Muddy Ranch, which is what I call my asshole.
Oh, God. There's this Chex Mix in my works in the vending machine, and it's called Muddy Buddies.
Yeah,
and every time I get it out, I always stare at people like, hey, how do you think they got this name?
You want to taste my Muddy Buddy?
You think they were muddy, but real Muddy Buddies? You think they were just playing in each other's mud? And anytime I have to poop really bad, I always tell people like, man, I'm about to lose my mud. People think that's fantastic.
So naturally, they actually renamed the Big Muddy Ranch to Rajneeshpuram.
No, so, we're keeping it Big Muddy Ranch.
We're keeping it Big Muddy Ranch. So they had about 7,000 followers that moved in with them to the ranch. They all wore red, and they all worked on communal farms to help build the community. So they essentially turned this huge, massive land, like 65,000 acres is a lot of land. That's a ton of land.
Especially to be a muddy ranch.
They ended up building a 4,200-foot airstrip, a fire department, restaurants, a public transportation system with buses, and a sewage plant. And it even had its own zip code.
In present day, it's known as Eugene, Oregon.
97741 was their actual zip code. That's
stand up, 97741, muddy buddy. Muddy buddy, stand up, motherfucker.
The locals, of course, didn't really care for all the cultists that had moved into their area. So fights between the locals and the cultists had begun to break out. The locals refer to them as red rats or red vermin. Red vermin.
That is such a fucking terrible name when they live on the Big Muddy Ranch. Call them the turd burglars or something, the fart fanugans.
I know, they could have definitely come up with something better. Yeah. So at the ranch, they even had like a peace force that would patrol their area, and they would patrol their area with Uzis, and they had a Jeep that would drive around the perimeter that had like a 30 caliber machine gun mounted on it. So
little wild, a little strange, working out on the range.
Good reference. I love it.
Hey, dude.
Tad was that dude.
I wonder if anyone listening to us remembers Hey Dude, the Nickelodeon 90s.
That's the best time for Nickelodeon.
They were on the Big Muddy Buddy Ranch. They were fucking each other in the ass all night.
Yeah, they were. They had that one Indian guy that was...
Oh, yeah, he was getting the shit fucked out of him for sure.
What's his name? What? I don't know. I think they gave him a white name like Danny or something.
Jeff.
Sam. So the Rajneeshees also took over a town called Antelope, Oregon, and what they did is they actually overwhelmed the community board. So they went in and outvoted them, and they ended up renaming that community to Rajneesh. They bullied a town out of their own name. Queen attempted to take over Wasco County by carrying a .357 Magnum, and she bust in 2,000 homeless people to vote the way that she wanted them to vote, so that the Rajneeshees would get into the state government. But of course they failed because they were told that the homeless weren't able to vote, because you do have to have a home address in order to register to vote.
If you're here and you smell like urine and you haven't washed your ball sack in over 4 months, you may not vote. Get the fuck out.
So they
go back to the Big Muddy Buddy Ranch. Keep on fucking each other in your buttholes, but you're not voting here in Oregon.
They had to make a new plan. So through the next couple of months, they would contaminate 10 salad bars in the area.
Listen, you can fuck with my family, you can fuck with my dog, but don't fuck with my salad bar.
Don't come down there, old country buffet, messing with my bread pudding. You look over at a big old Indian fella's got his little hairy dick and balls out there in the bread pudding. He's laying up there on the bar. He's got his face behind the sneeze guard, so it's not that big of a deal, but he's up there dry fucking the bread pudding, and he looks over and he says, "This ain't dried bread pudding no more, because I just put all kinds of juicy juice there in the bread pudding, so you don't be coming down here old country buffet no more thinking you ain't going to get a mouthful of Indian jizz when you take a bite of that bread pudding."
Not the bread pudding. Please don't. Please not the bread pudding.
Don't be fucking my bread pudding there at the salad bar, old country buffet.
So
it's not a buffet, Rob. It's a buffet. Remember that, okay?
A buffet.
It's a buffet.
I was taking me a shit there at the buffet.
Oh, I got it. You made me fucking lose my spot. Okay, they contaminated 10 salad bars in the area with salmonella poisoning in attempt. They did this attempting to suppress the local population from voting.
How do you put salmonella? Like, I picture some guy with a block of salmonella, the cheese grater, just like just grating salmonella all over the bread pudding and the salad and the lettuce and shit. I don't know how you effectively disperse salmonella on everything. And then
we'll get into that.
Ever since I've been a kid, when I hear the word salmonella, I think of a
salmon,
a salamander.
I think of a salmon.
So I think, like, when I see salamanders, I'm like, no, I'm not getting that shit.
So this is what they did. At the ranch, they created a brown liquid, and this is great. They called this salsa, and they would go into these places.
Christ.
They would pour the salsa into salad dressings, on produce, in water, and they actually used this.
Fuck
they used this to poison 2 Oregon officials. So in total, they ended up infecting 751 people. 45 also were hospitalized with salmonella poisoning.
What a bunch of fucking assholes.
Now, they had originally had a plan to make the salsa Salmonella typhi, I think it's, or typhi, I don't know how to pronounce it, which is actually typhoid fever.
Oh, good. That's fine,
and
too.
That would have ended up killing people if they would have done that, but they just decided to go with just make everybody sick.
You think about that, Rob, out there in Oregon on the Oregon Trail, giving people typhi when they're trying to travel up and down the trail. How bad is that going to turn out, Rob?
Very bad.
Because everyone knows about the typhi on the fucking Oregon Trail. It's taking you down, cut you down your prime. It doesn't matter how strong of a bull you are.
So the locals, of course, they kind of figured that something was going on. They figured that it was the Rajneeshees.
That goddamn red vermin, red rats. Bread pudding's fucked up.
They had no proof at all at this time. So the sickness was originally blamed on poor worker hygiene for an entire year before the plan was actually discovered. Osho fled the country at that time.
Everyone circle up. Circle up. A little team meeting here before we open up for the night. There's been some stuff going around town here. The belief is that you guys are taking shits and not washing your hands before you return to work. And I just want everyone to know that before you cut up the watermelon, it is imperative that we're washing our hands after we're done in there choking our lizards and taking dragon shits, if you guys don't matter. And if you are into the waffle stomping, you can listen to the Brohio podcast. They'll teach you how to waffle stomp, where you take a big shit in the sink, in the toilet, or in the bathtub there, and you just stomp the turd down into the bathtub.
I love that.
Sorry, Rob.
It's a good old waffle stomping reference. So, like I said, this was blamed on poor worker hygiene for about a year before this plan was actually discovered. Osho fled. He blamed Queen and her gang of fascists for everything. The government investigated the commune and found a full-blown bioterrorism lab with Bactrial discs of salmonella and literature for usage of explosives and military biowarfare.
Walter White.
Also found was one of the largest wiretapping operations, and they also found an assassination plot on Charles Turner, who is a U.S. attorney for the District of Oregon.
Oh my.
Even though Osho and Queen both ended up fleeing, they were eventually caught and sentenced. Queen was sentenced to 20 years, which she did 2 years total, then moved to Switzerland, claiming that...
fucking sentenced to 20 years.
I don't know. And claimed that Osho was completely responsible for everything. Now, Osho died in 1990, and of course, he claimed that Queen was responsible for everything.
Sure.
So the attack on the... and I'm going to get this wrong, I know I am, on the... It looks like it's Dallas with an E, D-A-L-L-E-S, or it could be the...
Dales. It's the Dales.
The Dallas.
Dales.
The Dallas Taco Time Salsa Bar and 9 other restaurants remain the first, largest, and worst bioterrorism attack in the U.S.
Oh my God. I've never heard of this in my entire life.
No. Salmonella attack.
It goddamn up there grading the salmonella on the bread pudding, man. I like me some bread pudding.
All right, we're at the hour and 8-minute mark. Whew. That'll be the longest episode we've ever done, Rob Dog.
Definitely, I'm ready.
I got one here for you called the Order of the Solar Temple. And I like that this is a potpourri of everything. This is kind of fucking crazy. This was a cult. It was from, I think they were in Switzerland, but they were mostly French. It's kind of, they categorized this as a French doomsday cult. And they were, oh God. They were famous for a lot of fucking devious sex acts. Like, they perfected the French press. Oh, God. Are you familiar with the French press?
The coffee maker?
No. This is... A French press is where you shit in your underwear, and then you take them off, and then you squeeze your underwear with the turd, like, below your fist, and you squeeze it so hard that the juice comes out of your underwear.
Okay.
That's a French press.
All right.
And then there's also another variation of the French press called, they call it the French press, but that's where you're teabagging someone and you just shart on them.
Okay.
Pretty simple, straight to the point. This is what these people were, this is their MO, okay? I made all that up, but this Order of the Solar Temple was founded by Joseph D. Mambro and Luc Jouret. I feel like I pronounced that perfectly.
I think so.
I think it's probably wrong. Di Mambro brainwashed his members into believing he was a member. This is some heavy shit, Rob. He was a member of the 14th century Christian Order of the Knights Templar.
Ooh.
So he had these people believing that he was reincarnated. He used to be a fucking knight, like in the 14th century, and these people were eating it up. They thought that he was the real deal, Holyfield. He was a fucking knight. All right. Now his daughter, Emmanuel, she was tagged as the cosmic child, and they would be led to a planet which orbits the star Sirius after their deaths. He preached that when you're here on Earth, you're not actually here on Earth. This is almost like a false reality, and that the entire reason you were put on this Earth is to escape this physical body, so you can go to your final resting spot as a planet that orbits the star Sirius.
Okay.
I can't even fucking connect the dots on this one, Rob. Now, Di Mambro started the Golden Way Foundation, and he used this to make money and meet people that he thought that would be down to fuck with the occult. He's like, are you down? Because I'm down. We can fucking do this. And that's where he met Luc Jouret. Jouret studied to become a doctor, but disappointed quickly in modern medicine and left the industry. He traveled the world studying his spirituality and practicing alternative medicine such as homeopathy. Now, I looked up homeopathy, of what kind of medicine that is, and that's when you go to the doctor and he just fucks you in the ass until you feel better. I'm kidding about that. Homeopathy is where if you have AIDS...
I want to find that doctor.
Right, yeah. I'm here, Doc. I got a bad cold.
Let me get some of that homeo.
I got a bad cold, but I got a tight asshole. I got a real tight asshole.
I about did a spit take.
Why don't you spit in my asshole, Rob? Now, homeopathy is where you combat whatever you have, whether that's AIDS, fucking ass cancer, with AIDS. So if you have,
super AIDS.
If you have hepatitis, they think that you just fucking drink hepatitis or inject small amounts of hepatitis, and that's going to cure your hepatitis.
Makes sense.
I am not a fucking molecular physicist or a doctor, but I do know that if I have the flu, don't go dumping more flu in my body, because I don't need any more flu, okay? One flu is enough flu. I don't need all that flu, Rob. So this homeopathy stuff...
3 lefts make a right, man.
I guess, and that's the belief system here. I would not opt to pay that copay, for sure. I would not fuck with that doctor. Eventually, this doctor, his journey led him to the Golden Way Foundation, where he met Di Mambro and Michael Tabachnik, who was a famous Swiss conductor and a composer who later testified against the members of the cult for fucking killing children.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. I mean, I hate kids, but I wouldn't do that.
No.
I just want to disclaim that real quick. And just like in any other cult, this was driven by money, sex, and power ultimately played the key role here. The central authority of this cult, and I don't want to say there was like a supreme leader or like a a main person. This was kind of like the Di Mambro and Jouret both together, but there was like a lead council, and they were called the Synarchy of the Temple. The members, they were all, I mean, they were taught to keep it secret that they were a part of this cult, and it was headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland. And I probably we have some Swedish listeners, so I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly.
Zurich, maybe?
Zurich? Yeah, that seems right, too. There were lodges that were popping up in Canada, Australia, Switzerland, Martinique, and other countries. The activities were a mixture of early Christianity and various Freemason rituals, which if we know anything about the Freemasons, we don't know anything.
Exactly.
Because they do a bunch of fucking weird shit.
Yeah, they do.
I got the one buddy. He said he was initiated by riding fucking billy goats at the. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that to ride? Count me out of that club.
Hey, whatever you gotta do, man.
Yeah. The lodges had now the activities were a mixture of early Christianity and the Freemason rituals, like we said. Several affluent Europeans were secret members of the group. The lodges had altars, rituals, and costumes, because anytime you get to dress up like a dickhead and walk around, I'm fucking down for it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
During such ceremonies, members bought lavish gifts and paid an upfront tuition fee. Afterwards, they would wear their robes and hold the sword. A fucking sword, Rob. Which Dimambro claimed was an authentic Templar artifact given to him in another life. So not only was he reincarnated in this world, but they let him bring his goddamn sword with him. They let him. He said, "I'm going to 1979. I'm bringing my fucking gat with me, whether you motherfucking knights like it or not. About to have this gat strapped up on my fucking leg.
Yep.
Got my sword. They're chopping up sandwiches and putting salmonella in the bread pudding because you need a sword to chop shit up." I think I'm getting my cults mixed up. Now, the doctor, Jure, would have lectures, and he would build followers, and the people would be required to hand over all their wealth in order to join this fucking Order of the Solar Temple. There were 33 members that lived at the main headquarters, and the regional, like we said, the regional lodges were popping up all over the place. So this was kind of like a worldwide thing for this cult, and I had never heard anything about this cult either. And they did some pretty fucking heinous shit. In 1986, they moved to their new headquarters in Quebec, Canada, and called it the Promised Land. And if you're ever at Kroger, which is our local shopping area, and you find a chocolate milk entitled the Promised Land, buy it, because this chocolate milk will change your life. I don't think the chocolate milk that I'm speaking about is directly linked to this cult stuff. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Who knows? I hope not.
Within a few years, he had many followers living with him, and that's we're talking about Jure here. He had many followers living with him, and he was brainwashing them to believe that he would that the world would be ruined by war, and that Quebec would be the only place saved from desolation. The new message emphasized that life on Earth was an illusion, like we stated at the beginning of our research here. They were just trying to escape their earthly bodies. Jure soon became very mentally unstable. Imagine that. And his colleagues questioned him and his sudden obsession with the end of the world. He preached that he was the third, not the first, second. He was the third incarnation of Christ himself. His teaching showed that he spoke of members leaving their bodies on Earth and meeting again via death voyages, which would take them to the star Sirius on their death voyage. Jure saw himself as Jesus Christ himself. He became obsessed with sex. Okay? And this is where it gets fun. He was having intercourse with one of the female members before each ritual and each sermon to give him the strength for the upcoming ceremony. So
Okay.
I speak so much better after I've had this stinky pussy right here. And I'm always gonna keep on coming back. I'm coming right now. Don't move. Don't move. Don't you move. You're moving. Stop moving. Stop moving. Okay. Hold still while I pull it out. Hold still while I pull it out.
the worst part, pulling it out at the end, like when you're all done.
Oh, yeah.
It's like taking fucking porcupine quills out. You gotta rip that son of a bitch out.
It tickles.
Yeah. Now the members, we said this before, but they were ordered to hand over all their monies, and they had to adhere to very strict rules. Over 6 years, the Order of the Solar Temple gained over 400 members and delineated itself in a 3-part structure. The lowest, the Amana Club, was designed for members who spread the cult's message to new people. These ambassadors gave lectures all around the world, they didn't pay enough money to matter that much, because this thing was all kind of about like leveling up. This is like Candy Crush shit right here.
That's exactly how Scientology is.
Yeah. The next level up, the Arcadia Club, consisted of members who were allowed to know a bit more of the cult secrets and were promised the reward of coming closer to, quote, a higher consciousness. One had to be hand-selected to reach this level by an elder. The highest circle of the cult was called the International Knighthood Organization. That sounds like a bunch of fucking white beard fucking guys in triangle hats that like to fucking wreak havoc on different races. Reaching this level involved secret initiation rituals, and its members had access to the publications others did not. Demambro joined in as well with the sex, so you got the Dr. Jure. Demambro, he's fucking everybody. Mind you, Demambro has a fucking daughter who is deemed the cosmic child. She's the chosen one, right? They ordered certain married couples in the group to split up, deeming that they were not cosmically compatible. So when you're going on your death voyage, you got to have a bad bitch with you. And if, she wasn't your mate, if she wasn't your ride or die bitch, essentially they were breaking these people up so they could fuck the wives. And they would tell these people they couldn't be together because they weren't cosmically
right
compatible.
connected,
So they could split them up, and then Jure and Demambro could have their sexy ways with these women. Unfortunately, there was a final supper, because the end game here was ultimately, unfortunately, a mass suicide. There was a final supper, and during the final supper, the people that attended were made aware of the ultimate plan for everyone to kill themselves. And they were all completely fine with that. I'm down for a lot of shit, Rob, but I'm not down to kill myself.
Yeah, I'm good.
If you want me to see if I can fit an entire pineapple in my ass, I will do it. I'm not going to be happy about it, but I will do it, okay? On October 4th, 1994, upon realizing the hypocrisy, cult member Tony Dutoit, I heard this somewhere, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, he spoke out and left the group. Soon he and his wife, now when he spoke out about the group, he was kind of high. I don't know if he was actually in the group or not, but Jure and Demambro hired Dutoit to install these like hologram projectors in the sanctuary area, and these projectors would put fucking weird shit on the walls, like stars and bodies and apparitions and stuff. And these people during these ceremonies were led to believe that these were ghosts and ultimate realm beings coming to our world, to make it sound like Jure and Demambro were actually telling the truth about all this shit. So he was installing all these fancy projectors to make these fucking things pop up on the wall. And he came forward and said, "Hey, you fucking idiots. These guys have you brainwashed. These are, the stuff you're seeing is not real. I installed the projectors in the services area. So what do you do with a guy that's talking too much? What do you do with a guy like that?" Soon after he came forward about all of the projectors and whatnot, he and his wife were stabbed to death in Canada. Their little son, Emmanuel, who was named by Demambro as the Antichrist, he was wrapped in a black plastic bag, and a wooden stake was driven through his chest.
Oh, gosh.
And he was just a few months old. I'm sorry, this part's kind of fucked up. Demambro, he preached that the baby was born specifically to detour his spiritual aim. So he was using the out of, not that he was killing these people in the family because they spoke about, how shady they were and how underhanded the cult was in general. He's saying that he killed the family because this baby, they were harboring the fucking Antichrist, and that this child specifically was trying to keep him off his spiritual path. Now, within 12 hours, just 12 hours of the killing of the Dutoit family, a chalet was reported as being on fire in Switzerland. The firemen entered the building and found a dramatic scene of mirrored walls, crimson fabric, and a total of 22 bodies arranged on the floor in a sun-shaped pattern. Now, among the 22 dead included 9 men, 12 women, and a 12-year-old boy, many of whom were found wearing the ceremonial robes of the Order of the Solar Temple. It is believed that 19 of the dead members had been shot in the head, many of whom were also draped in hooded plastic bags. And they couldn't really officially establish whether these people, shot themselves or if they were shot by, certain people. But I don't understand the bags around the heads. That's kind of weird for me. But the plastic bags, but it's a fucking death cult. It's a doomsday cult. That's why it is what it is. And just hours later, another fire broke out in another part of Switzerland, a farmhouse which belonged to the Order of the Solar Temple. When the police and firemen arrived to this building, they found another 25 dead bodies who had all died from drug overdoses, including 5 children, one of whom was Matamoros' cosmic child. The group leaders were also found among the dead. So I guess the end game here was this mass suicide here, that they killed the Dussois family, and then within hours they killed themselves. And I don't know why that I can't grasp why they killed that family. I mean, I know why they did it, but why to do it and then everyone, for them to all kill themselves. But that's the thing about these cults, man. They just operate in such a weird way. Swedish investigators searched the property and located a tape dating from around March 1994 with Jure and Matamoros discussing the group's imminent departure. Now, this is a quote. Matamoros says, "People have beaten us to the punch, And then Jure says, "Well, yeah, Waco beat us to the punch." And then Matamoros says, "In my opinion, we should have gone 6 months before them. What we'll do will be even more spectacular."
Jeez.
As the world was still recovering from the double mass suicides, another death pact broke out in France just over a year later from the other suicides. In December 1995, another mass suicide occurred with all 16 bodies laid out in a sun-shaped pattern, much like the mass suicides in Switzerland. And just the same as all the other scenes, they were drugged, shot, and they had the plastic bags on their heads. Now, studies show that the group were shot by 2 men who then killed themselves afterwards. So I did forget about that part. And a year and a half later, on March 2nd, 1997, a fire was reported in Quebec City. Firemen quickly arrived and began to extinguish the flames as a group of children came out from a shed nearby. They told the officers that their parents wanted them to die alongside them, but they managed to negotiate their way out of it and escape despite being heavily drugged. The 5 bodies were found dead inside the burning home, bringing the OTS, or Order of the Solar Temple. This brought their death count to 74 people. And one thing they noticed from a lot of these bodies, there was a lot of scratches and blood and bruises and all over the bodies. So it seemed like there was a pattern of physical abuse going on with these people being in whatever they were going through, but they were dealing with some pretty heavy abuse of some type that had been going on for a long period of time. So
Crazy.
That was the collapse of the Order of the Solar Temple.
That was a big one.
Whew.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with them Canucks, man.
Can't be fucking with them.
Hell nah. Where do we go from here, man?
Yeah, I
Let's
think
see.
you have one more, don't you?
I do. Let me see. Let me get to it. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Here we go. I got it. I got to brush up on my Spanish here. This is the Matamoros.
Yeah, they were, that was the gang that rode with the Sons of Anarchy, wasn't it?
I don't know.
That was the Mayans. They're coming out with a new show.
Oh, okay.
Do you watch Sons of Anarchy?
I don't. We got like one episode in, and then we got distracted.
This.
Excuse me, let me clear my throat
That's
here.
fine.
Okay, so this is March 1989. This is Mark Kilroy, who is a University of Texas student. He ends up going missing. This is during spring break. One night, he left the South Padre Island to go to Mexico to check out the bars and then vanished. So 4 weeks after disappearing, what did they find? His brain.
This is entirely his fucking his brain.
Yep, they found his brain. So this is from People Magazine. It says, it turned up in a cauldron. It had been boiled in blood over an open fire, along with a turtle shell, a horseshoe, a spinal column, and other human bones.
God damn, motherfucker.
His ritual death and dismemberment had been carried out in service to religion, a bizarre drug-demented occult religion practiced by an American marijuana smuggler operating out of Mexico. Authorities were led to a grave containing Kilroy's body, or at least what remained of it, and after that, the uncovering of mutilated corpses went on and on. The first day of digging brought up a dozen bodies, all of them buried on the grounds of Rancho Santa Elena. The victims had been slashed, beaten, shot, hanged, or boiled alive. The only commonality to their deaths, the ritual mutilations that followed.
Oh, man. So, like, if I'm trying to go out, I want to be boiled from now on.
That's rough, man.
Just boil me and put me in a packet of ramen, like a bag of ramen.
So that's what happened. Let's build up to that portion here. So it was believed that those smugglers that were sacrificing people they did the sacrificing because they thought it would protect them from being caught by police and arrested. So, okay, cool. So
you know why they did this stuff? They were we've heard the key word here. It's marijuanas. They were doing the marijuanas.
They're
obviously injecting the marijuanas.
Yeah. So the police found a man who was in the cult. They found him. This is kind of what tied the police to the cult. They found this guy, and he was trying to form his own roadblock. And when they found him trying to block the road, they searched him. He had weed on him.
Little fucking dime bag.
And yeah. And they figured, we know where this guy lives. Let's go check out the place. So they figure out that he lives at Rancho Santa Elena. So they travel there, and what they end up finding, they go there, they find more drugs, and tacos. And most importantly, they found a lot of horribly disfigured bodies. So the man that was responsible for the cult was 26-year-old Adolfo de Jesus Constanzo, a.k.a. El Padrino, the Godfather. Pretty sweet.
Oh, my God.
And he had help from a 24-year-old named Santa Adrete, a.k.a. The Witch.
I wonder what their credit scores were. Wondering out loud.
Costanzo eluded capture until 1989, where he actually ended up ordering a underling in the cult to shoot him and his companion that he was with, who's Martin Quintana Rodriguez, instead of being taken by police. So he wanted to, he knew he's going to get hemmed up for all this. So he's like, yeah, just kill me.
Blow my fucking brains out.
Yeah. Now, Aldrete and other cult members were found and arrested and charged with a bunch of crimes, including murder. Law enforcement actually ended up burning down the house to the ground, which the house they called the Killing Shack, and that's where all the killings and rituals would happen. So it's not anything too long or too crazy. That's kind of like the TLDR version of it. But yeah, pretty much they found this place, and there was ritualistic killings. Yeah, they found they were able to, like you said, they boiled people alive, killed people.
I'm trying to get down with that boiling shit, man.
That's crazy, man. Boiling their brains in turtle shells.
Oh, man.
And just throw in a horseshoe, a spinal column, and some other bones just for good measure.
Yeah, take that.
We're going to throw this in for flavor.
Oh, my God.
Zesty.
So fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's a weird one, man.
If you're a listener of the Brahia podcast show, and
have you ever boiled someone?
And you've ever been boiled before, go ahead and write us at the...
We're not talking about if you're boiling spaghetti and a little pop comes out and hits you. We want to know if you've been fully boiled.
My name's Bill Wilkins, and I'm 73 years old, and I died my own shit.
We love you, Mr. Wilkins. Anytime you come here, it lightens our day a little bit more.
I used to boil dead bodies.
How'd that go for you?
They tasted like shit.
I've had boiled meat before, so I'm not surprised.
One time I had this big nasty swamp donkey come over to my house.
Yeah.
And I think she ate too many biscuits before she came over.
Okay. I like biscuits.
She died in my chair.
Ooh.
My chair I like to shit in.
Okay. That's a little presumptuous of her.
And I couldn't move her big ass. So I had to boil her. I was all out of food.
I think that's what she gets for sitting in your chair, honestly.
She tasted like jelly beans and shit. And I fucking hate jelly beans.
What about the shit?
I didn't mind the shit.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me.
It hurt to shit her out, though. I know that.
I bet.
I'm leaving.
Okay. It's always nice talking to him.
He just overcomes me with fear, and I can't speak when he's around.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Him and them swamp donkeys.
I like talking to him. He likes swamp
He
donkeys,
hasn't
man.
been around in a few episodes.
No, he hasn't. It's glad to hear from him. I'm glad to know he's doing okay. His
Yeah.
chair's okay.
So we're gonna cut this episode off.
Yeah.
Normally we interview our patron,
Okay.
which I feel terribly about. I doubt she's awake,
Yeah, it's pretty late.
but we might write her and see if she's available
Tomorrow or...
for the Patreon episode before we do this one real quick.
Okay,
Because
cool.
Rob has to do a Patreon episode, even if it's 10 minutes.
Okay.
He has to do it. We love you guys.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
We love you.
And thank you, Lindsay Westcott, for sponsoring this Patreon episode.
Yes, thank you very much. You got your name right.